The WNBA has been an arena of both athletic excellence and powerful controversies. But what are the moments that truly shook the league to its core? Today, we're diving into the top 5 most controversial events in WNBA history and what they reveal about the league's evolution. 1. Brittney Griner and Glory Johnson's suspension, 2015. In April 2015, Brittney Griner and her then-fiancé Glory Johnson were both arrested after a domestic altercation in their shared home. The incident escalated to physical violence, resulting in both players facing disorderly conduct charges. The league responded swiftly, handing each a 7-game suspension, which was notably severe, comprising over 20% of the season. WNBA President Laurel Richie stated, "The WNBA takes all acts of violence extremely seriously. It is our strong belief that violence has absolutely no place in society, in sports, or in this league." This stance was notable because it mirrored the heightened scrutiny around domestic violence policies in other leagues like the NFL, which had recently faced similar challenges. Griner, accepting the suspension, said,
I accept what I did, and I understand that, like I just said, there's consequences for your actions, and I accept, my suspension, and I'm not gonna fight.
However, her willingness to comply did not mitigate the public debate. Some felt the league's action was excessive, especially given that this was a first-time incident for both players. The suspension highlighted the WNBA's emphasis on a zero-tolerance policy for violence, but also sparked a discussion about whether the punishment was proportional, given the league's relatively smaller platform compared to the NBA and NFL. The incident raised questions about how the WNBA's stringent standards might inadvertently place players under greater scrutiny than their male counterparts. 2. Elena Delle Donne's medical exemption denial, 2020. Reigning WNBA MVP Elena Delle Donne found herself in an agonizing position due to the league's denial of her medical exemption request. Delle Donne, who has chronic Lyme disease, required 64 pills a day just to manage her symptoms. Her doctor advised her against playing in the COVID-19 season bubble, citing her immunocompromised status. However, the league's medical panel determined that Lyme disease did not qualify as a high-risk condition under CDC guidelines, meaning that Delle Donne had to either risk her health or forego her paycheck. In a heartfelt open letter, Delle Donne expressed her disappointment. "I'm now left with 2 choices. I can either risk my life or forfeit my paycheck. Honestly, that hurts. It hurts a lot." She went on to say, "I was told that when it came down to it, it would be impossible to keep COVID-19 out of the bubble entirely, and then Florida cases started rising." Her words struck a chord with many fans and sparked a conversation about the WNBA's commitment to player health and autonomy. Delle Donne's team and personal physician both supported her exemption request. Coach Mike Thibault of the Washington Mystics commented, "The health and well-being of our players is of the utmost importance," adding that the team would support her decision to forgo the season if she chose. The situation underscored the lack of player control over personal health decisions in professional sports and raised awareness about the unique challenges faced by athletes with chronic illnesses. Delle Donne's experience fueled advocacy for players' rights and highlighted the league's need for nuanced health policies, especially as players continue to advocate for themselves. 3. The Detroit Shock and LA Sparks Brawl, 2008. In 2008, a game between the Detroit Shock and LA Sparks erupted into a chaotic brawl in the final seconds, marking one of the most intense moments in WNBA history. The incident began when LA rookie Candace Parker and Detroit's Plannette Pearson got into a physical altercation following a free throw. As tensions escalated, players from both teams rushed in, and Shock assistant coach Rick Mahorn attempted to separate the players. However, he was accused of shoving Sparks star Lisa Leslie, which intensified the melee further. Reflecting on the incident, Parker later said, "In my household, you never throw the first punch, but you can defend yourself." Leslie, visibly upset, expressed her disappointment, telling ESPN,
"Because, as a role model, it's just really difficult to... this is not the way we want to represent ourselves. A coach pushed me down. I don't even know why was he pushing me down. I wasn't swinging or hitting anybody."
Mahorn defended his actions, stating, "I was trying to protect the integrity of the game. I would never push a woman." The league issued suspensions for 10 players, and Mahorn, underscoring its commitment to sportsmanship. But the media response was mixed. Some coverage framed the brawl as a catfight, trivializing the players' intensity and downplaying the genuine rivalry at play. Coach Bill Laimbeer later remarked, "It's unfortunate, but it happens. Players get emotional." This incident brought significant attention to the WNBA, albeit under controversial circumstances, revealing the league's struggles to maintain an image of sportsmanship while allowing players to express the competitive passions seen in men's sports. 4. The charter flight debate. The WNBA's policy requiring teams to fly commercial has long been a point of contention, as players endure exhausting travel schedules without the luxury of chartered flights that NBA players take for granted. Veteran players like Sue Bird have spoken out, pointing to the disparity in resources, arguing that commercial travel puts players at a physical disadvantage and even risks their health and safety. Bird's perspective resonates deeply. How can we be expected to compete at the highest level when we're treated like second-class athletes? She questioned. The WNBA has repeatedly cited financial limitations, but players contend that it's a matter of respect and investment in women's sports. In an interview, Diana Taurasi put it bluntly, "It's about whether you value the players enough to give us the resources we need to succeed." The debate highlights a stark inequity, with other leagues and organizations, even those with fewer resources, providing better travel conditions for their athletes. For WNBA players, the commercial travel policy isn't merely an inconvenience, it's symbolic of the broader disparities in support and respect between men's and women's professional sports. This ongoing controversy continues to draw public and media attention, pushing the WNBA to reconsider its priorities and resources if it aims to support players fully. 5. The Atlanta Dream Ownership Controversy, 2020. In 2020, Atlanta Dream co-owner and U.S. Senator Kelly Loeffler publicly criticized the WNBA's support for the Black Lives Matter movement, calling it divisive. Loeffler's comments starkly contrasted the league's commitment to social justice and led to an unprecedented player-led protest. The Dream players responded by wearing Vote Warnock t-shirts to support her political opponent, Raphael Warnock, turning their game day attire into a political statement. Dream player Elizabeth Williams spoke passionately about the protest, saying, "It's not about politics, it's about human rights. It's about supporting a movement that gives a voice to people who feel voiceless." The protest gained widespread media attention, sparking conversations on athletes' roles in activism. Loeffler eventually sold her stake in the team, and former Dream player Renee Montgomery joined the new ownership group, marking a monumental shift in ownership dynamics and player influence. The incident set a powerful precedent for athlete activism within the WNBA and beyond. WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert later remarked, "Our players are more than athletes. They're advocates, and they've shown that they'll use their platform to support what they believe in." This moment further cemented the WNBA's reputation as a league that doesn't just permit activism, but actively encourages it, shaping a new standard for the role of athletes as agents of social change. Each of these controversies underscores the WNBA's evolution from a sports league to a platform for advocacy and change. From demanding player rights and equity to championing social justice, the WNBA is continuously setting new standards for what it means to be a professional sports league. As the league grows, new challenges and controversies are inevitable. But if history is any indication, the WNBA and its players won't back down from the fight.